Hey everybody! Today we're going to ask the question, do you need a 3D printer in your studio? And no, you don't. But they're handy to have. Now, any of you guys who have known me for a long time will remember that I am just extremely enthusiastic about 3D printing. In fact, here at Hula Cow Studios, we use ours a lot. We print everything from small adapters to mic parts to audio devices to full-on working microphones. And if that wasn't enough, if you need a shock mount for your full-on working microphone, well, we can make one that holds two of them. So, why is this a thing? Why am I talking about this today? Well, the thing about running a voice studio is you need versatility and adaptability. Like, if you need a shock mount, like I'm using one right here, it's 3D printed, looks ugly, but it's serviceable. And why wouldn't you just go buy one? Like, a regular shock mount is $6, $10, $12 after shipping, blah, blah, blah. So why would you 3D print one? Well, you wouldn't, like this. But if you need a specialty one that does something different, it's kind of nice to have, but that's getting off into the weeds a little bit. For more practical uses of things like this, if you had a shock mount that's 25mm and a mic with a 22mm thread, you can 3D print an adapter and put it in if you're in a hurry. Now, can you order those online? Of course you can. But the reason I keep these on hand is because these are actually hard to get. So by the time you realize you need one, you're in for a week-long wait, and you have to cobble something together, which we'll get to in a minute. But it's nice to have it for small emergencies that pop up around the studio that need an adaptive solution. Can you 3D print a pop filter if you need an extra one? Sure you can. Or you can run down to the corner store and get a 99-cent embroidery hoop and throw some foam or an old sock in it. Works great. Works just fine. You do not need a 3D printer for that. But for small things like adapters or mount screws or capsule saddles or even cable management widgets like this, it's handy to have around the studio. The tripod that the camera's sitting on over there has a thumb screw that fell apart, so the handle on it is now 3D printed. So that's nice. You can do a lot of things. Is it necessary? Absolutely not. You can always get by. But they're handy to have around, and you can come up with some versatile and efficient solutions if you do have one and invest the time in learning how to use it. Is it necessary? No. But it does give you the ability to do a lot of things that you couldn't otherwise, like custom audio adapters and things like that actually look like they belong in a studio and not some duct tape monstrosity. Not that I'm not guilty of duct tape monstrosities. And if you get really invested in it, you can even do things like printing full-on working microphones, if you're that kind of geek. I mean, not everyone is, but if you just need to bang out an adapter or a spare part that's going to be hard to find otherwise, they're great. Now are most people going to do things like this? No, you're not. As a matter of fact, I think that probably very few people are going to do things like this. But the point being, don't overlook the utility of having a way to create something that is difficult to get otherwise and that you may need fast access to in a pinch or an emergency, especially if you have a studio with high turnover and high volume and you've got a lot of things going on and you're switching things up all the time. Are these little 3/8 to 5/8 adapters a dime a dozen? Yes. Can you get them from Amazon? Yes. And if you need one, you gotta wait a day to get it, or you can print one out in 20 minutes or less. Can you get capsule saddles to repair an expensive mic? Yes, you can. But again, you're going on eBay or Alibaba, and you're gonna pay a lot of money for it. Meanwhile, this is 20 minutes and 3 cents worth of plastic. And for more esoteric adapters that are going to be a lot harder to get your hands on fast, easy, or cheap, they're invaluable. Now, do you need any of that? No, you could stuff some rubber bands in here or tie it on somehow. I mean, you can always MacGyver a solution, and we'll talk about that in another video because that's a valuable skill to have. But If you're trying to justify an inexpensive 3D printer for use around your studio, there's a lot of things you can do with it that you might not have thought of. And they're on sale for $160 to $180 these days for a really good one, like a Bamboo A1 Mini, and I'm sure someone has an old Ender 3 Pro that they're willing to part with for cheap, so might be time to look into some ways to make your studio more versatile and make your life a little more convenient when you're trying to do a bunch of small things and patch together a bunch of solutions for you, your customers, and your clients. That, and you can print little promotional items too. So that's always fun. But until next time, have fun. I'll see you later.